Yeah, today I am going to discuss about the respiration. Respiration is second life process. First life process we already studied. It was nutrition. Nutrition we have studied, in which the food is being taken in. The food is primarily one of the major use of the food is to provide us energy. How? How food will give us energy? Actually, the food which we are eating is undergoing a process of oxidation, and during this process of oxidation of food, the energy is liberated. This energy is converted into ATP. ATP, as you know, is the energy currency of our body. Wherever our body requires energy, we are using ATP. However, the entire energy is coming from food. We are not able to use energy from sunlight or any other form of light. We cannot live on the electricity, we cannot live on the light energy, we cannot live in the heat energy, or we cannot live on any other form of energy beside the chemical energy, that also only from the organic substances. So that is what the basis of respiration is. The respiration completes in three steps. So first is exchange of gases, that is commonly known as breathing. The second is transport of gases that take place between the lungs and the body. And the third one is oxidation of food. So that is how respiration is very important step. The first process of respiration is exchange of gases, that is commonly known as breathing. Breathing is the process in which our body is taking oxygen from the air that we are taking in, and the carbon dioxide or exhaust gases will be given out. So that is done in the exchange of gases, that is called breathing. The next is transport of gases. The gases, that is the oxygen, is transported from the lungs to the tissues, and carbon dioxide from the tissues to the lungs. That is done in the process of transport of gases. That we'll study later. Next is oxidation of food. So these are the three steps of respiration. We shall study about them one by one. First is exchange of gases. Exchange of gases is very important because body of multicellular organism, each cell is not in direct contact with the surrounding oxygen. Even if they are, the body is not so thin that oxygen will immediately diffuse in. So there should be some mechanism by which the air or the oxygen enters in our body. In most of the lower organ, it is the moist skin. The moist skin will trap the oxygen, and the oxygen will move in. Then all insects have trachea. Then the crustacea, mollusca, echinodermata, fish, they all have got gills. Gills provide large surface area for exchange of gases. When the water flows over it, the oxygen dissolved in the water will diffuse from the water into the blood, and carbon dioxide from blood to water. And then lungs, as we all terrestrial animals, right from amphibia, reptilia, aves, and mammals, we all have got lungs. However, amphibians are very strange animals. They are in larval stages, the gills are present. Then the moist skin is also responsible for exchange of gases. They can even exchange the gases from the buccal cavity. So the amphibians are very strange animals as compared to the other organs for the exchange of gases. So moist skin, trachea, gills, and lungs, there are the various type of exchange of the organs of various exchange of gases. The next is transport of gases. Now, since the gases are brought only from the external air up to the trachea or to the gills or to the lungs, but they are not reaching to each and every cell. So the oxygen will reach to the tissues or the cells by a medium that is called blood, and the carbon dioxide is brought by the blood to the lungs again, from where they will be given out. So this is done by the blood, and the blood has got a sort of pigment called hemoglobin for that. Hemoglobin has affinity for oxygen as well as for carbon dioxide. However, the affinity for oxygen is far more than carbon dioxide. So when the blood comes into the lungs, the alveoli of the lungs, immediately they takes the oxygen and change into oxyhemoglobin. And when oxyhemoglobin containing blood, that is the oxygenated blood, comes into the tissues, so they give oxygen out, and they take the carbon dioxide in. It all depends on the concentration difference, and that is responsible for the diffusion. Then the carbon dioxide is picked by the blood in return, and where it forms carboaminohemoglobin. Yeah, remember that it is carboaminohemoglobin, not the carboxyhemoglobin. The carboaminohemoglobin takes the carbon dioxide back and leaves into the lungs, from where it will be given out. So this is how the blood is performing two important functions, that is bringing the oxygen in and taking the carbon dioxide out. In the animals, higher animals like human beings and all, we got lungs. A typical human being's respiratory system is shown here. The organ of respiration, nostrils through which the air moves in. It moves from the pharynx also, so the nostrils as well as the pharynx both have common opening. Then it comes into the trachea. If you see, this is the trachea, that is called windpipe. Windpipe is found in the neck region and it is protected by the cartilaginous rings. Cartilaginous rings are protecting the trachea and preventing it from collapsing. You cannot simply press it and take out all the air present in the trachea. Also, the trachea, you cannot simply bend it and you cannot seize the oxygen or air supply in it, and that is how they got the cartilaginous rings. Then the trachea divides into two. In common language it is written that it prevents the collapsing of the trachea. Also, there is a voice box over here just under the Adam's apple. So when the exhale air passes over the voice box, it causes the vibration of the vocal cord and it creates voice. Here there is an organ called epiglottis. We already studied in the nutrition. The epiglottis prevents the entry of food. When swallowing of the food is done, it is prevented to enter into the windpipe, rather it is allowed to go into the food pipe. Then the trachea divides into two, that is bronchi. And bronchi are also supported by cartilaginous rings. Then they are divided into large number of bronchioles. Bronchioles and bronchioles will ultimately develop open into alveoli. So these are alveoli here, alveoli, bronchiole. So all of these are supported by cartilaginous rings. These are alveoli. So they all are prevented by cartilaginous rings so that none of them can be collapsed. And alveoli are the most important area because all the exchange of gases is actually taking place in alveoli. So if I enlarge the diagram of an alveoli, the alveoli will look like this. The very thin layer of the membrane is there, then it will have a rich network of the blood capillaries. So the blood is just moving over the walls of the alveoli. So when the air fills into the alveoli, it stays there for almost 1 to 2 seconds, and during that the exchanges take place between the alveolar air and the blood capillaries surrounding it. So that is done by diffusion, and that is why the alveoli provides the surface area. Alveoli also increase the surface area of each lung up to 80 square meter. So that is quite a big area, somewhere about a basketball court. So that is the surface area of our lungs, and that is how it will help us to exchange the gases immediately. So these are the organs of respiration. Again, I'll just quick review. The nostrils has got nasal passage here, in which the nasal hair is there, and when the air passes over here, the dust particles are filtered by the hair, and it has got mucus also traps all the germs and the dust particles, and it also got the auditory cells, which helps in the detecting of the various type of smells. And such a long passage, when the air passes, the temperature also becomes equal to the body temperature. Then it opens into the mouth, so that we can breathe through mouth as well as through nose. More importantly, when the exhale air is passed, it passes through the mouth, then only we are able to speak. If you just think and close your mouth and try to speak through your nose, you will not be able to, or even if you try to speak, nobody will be able to understand. Then the epiglottis is there, which prevent the entry of food to the trachea. Then the trachea is a long tube that is called windpipe, which is protected by cartilaginous rings. It has got voice box over here, then trachea divided into bronchi. One bronchi each goes into the lungs, then bronchi divided into bronchiole and bronchiole into alveoli. The lungs are pinkish color. They are not balloon-like, rather they are spongy structure, and the surface area is increased because of that. So that is all about the structure. Now comes to the third and the most important part, that is the oxidation of food. Oxidation of food is done by three different ways. First is the fermentation, which take place in the yeast and the bacteria and the lower organisms. So in them actually, if you see, they produce alcohol. So when the glucose is used, they first form two pyruvic acids. Just balance it. I'll write two pyruvate here, and then each of these pyruvate will change into one molecule of alcohol, and two carbon dioxide are given out, and 2 ATP is produced in this process. So it is a very energetically very inefficient process in which each molecule of glucose is resulting only 2 molecules of ATP. Moreover, it is also producing alcohol, which is still about a lot of energy in it, and it is energetically not a good process. The second one is the aerobic respiration. In aerobic respiration, 6 molecules of oxygen is required from outside, and this oxygen will be used to break the pyruvate into carbon dioxide and water. So it is a complete oxidation where carbon dioxide and water are formed. They cannot be further broken into anything, and 36 ATP are produced. You see, where only 2 ATPs were formed in the fermentation, here 36 ATP are formed. There is another process which is found in the higher organisms like human being and other active organisms, where the energy requirement is more, oxygen requirement is more, but the oxygen supply is less. In that case, the body, along with the aerobic respiration, also carry out another respiration called anaerobic respiration, in which only 2 molecules of lactic acid and 2 molecules of ATP are formed during oxidation of each molecule of glucose. So energetically it is less efficient, but somehow some amount of energy is supplied in addition to the 36 ATP which is taking place in the aerobic respiration. So this will be life-saving process where the energy requirement is fulfilled, but the efficiency is not so much. Moreover, it has got a very big problem. The lactic acid which is produced, which is when collected into the muscles, it causes fatigue and we get tired. Hence, there is a requirement of quick removal of the lactic acid. If lactic acid keep on collecting in our body, we will get inflammation in our muscles, we will get fatigue, we will get tired, we will not be able to work more. And that is how we will have to stop for some time, we will have to rest for some time, and then lactic acid will again change into pyruvate, and then it will go the aerobic respiration. So that is how these three type of pathways are there. Pathways of the oxidation of glucose. If we differentiate among these three, so we can see that the end product is alcohol, where is a carbon dioxide and water, and it is lactic acid. Only 2 ATP are formed, 36 ATP, 2 ATPs are formed, 2 carbon dioxide, 6 carbon dioxide, no carbon dioxide, no water, here water, and no water here even. It is producing alcohol and it is producing lactic acid, it is producing none of the incomplete intermediate molecule over here. That final molecule, the carbon dioxide and water is there. Moreover, the lactic acid causes inflammation, whereas there is no inflammation in the first two processes. So this is how the differences are there. You can tabulate the difference between these three types of respiration. So that is aerobic respiration, fermentation, and anaerobic respiration, which is taking place in the insufficient supply of oxygen. No need of oxygen, 6 molecules of oxygen is needed, less molecule of oxygen are supplied. Glucose is incompletely combusted here, and alcohol is formed, carbon dioxide and water is formed, and incomplete combustion leading to the lactic acid. Carbon dioxide is formed here, 2 molecules, 6 molecules, no carbon dioxide. There is no water formed here, 6 molecules of water formed here, no water here. There is alcohol formed here, there is no alcohol, no alcohol. Lactic acid is here, no lactic acid, no. Only 2 ATP, 36 ATP, and 2 ATP. And lactic acid has got another side effect is that is it forms the fatigue. Last molecule thing which I had to discuss here is ATP. ATP, as you know, is the energy currency of our body. It is just like your mobile battery. So you just charge the mobile battery and then you use it for the various things, maybe for listening to music, or maybe calling someone, or to make click photos, or make a video call, or even using torch, or even using calculator, whatever type of user. Similarly, in our body we are charging our muscle, our ATP molecules, which are like the same battery, with oxidation of food, and then this battery, that is ATP, is used for the various purposes, maybe for talking, maybe for walking, maybe for singing, maybe for jumping, maybe for maintaining body temperature, maybe for various other type of activities. So hence this ATP is just like a battery, rechargeable battery, and it is also known as energy currency. In any case, in this entire topic, if you got any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section. And if you like the video, do like it, share it, and if you are new on my channel, subscribe it. Thank you.